Hey, what's going on everyone? Travis here, and sorry it's been such a long time since I've done a tutorial video. I actually broke my mic by accident. I rolled over it in my computer chair, but as you can probably hear, I got actually a better mic with a lot less feedback in the background. So, today we're going to go over another signature tutorial, and we're going to create this really eerie looking signature based on this Walking Dead render that I found. This signature was actually created for one of the syndicate members, which is syn360.com, if you're ever interested in playing some Xbox Call of Duty with us. But anyway, so here is the PSD. And it's a pretty simple signature to create, and I'll just go ahead and go over all the steps that I took to create it. So the first thing I did is I created a new document, and this one is 650 by about 170 or so. And what I did is I went ahead and filled the background with not a solid black, but a really dark gray, kind of like this. And then I got my render, which is right here. So, and I found this. I think I just typed in Walking Dead .png or Walking Dead PNG or Walking Dead render in Google Images, and this is one of the first ones that'll come up. So, if you want to use this same image. So, anyway, so I saved the PNG. I opened up the PNG, and I can just click and drag this into our area. I'm gonna get rid of that little red thing. Control T. Or Command T, I believe it is on a Mac, pulls up the bounding box, and I'm going to click with the left mouse button, and I'm going to hold Shift to constrain portions. If I don't hold Shift, you'll notice it kind of gets all stretched and stuff. We don't want that. If you hold Shift, it'll constrain the proportions, which is what we want. So it's about this big, and I'll hit Enter I forget what the word is, the check mark, whatever that means. Anyway. So basically I've got this layer now, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a whole bunch of duplications of the same layer, and the long way to do that is to click and hold and bring it down to new, or I think you can right click and hit duplicate layer, and it's all this crap. But anyway, the shortcut is Control J or Command J, and I'm going to do that quite a few times, and then I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to hide all these layers that are above this original one. And as you can probably know, or as you have probably seen in my other tutorials, I like to keep a original just down below, just for safekeeping. So anyway, we'll work on this bottom layer right above the background, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my smudge tool, and I'm going to take a smudge brush, and this is the one I'm using, and I'll try to find where I found it. I know for a fact it was on DeviantArt, so if you type in smudge brush in DeviantArt, you might find some other smudge brush packs, but basically what they do is when you install them, the brush settings are already set up to where they have shape dynamics, they have scattering, some transfer, and some smoothing, so you can see it's not just like a normal brush. And what that means is as I click and I drag over this, you get this like kind of cool effect. But what I like to do is I like to click once or twice, or just hold on for click and hold just for a little bit and kind of smudge them out. And I want these kind of like splatter things to really be shown, like this right here. I don't like the really smooth areas like this bottom part, so I'll keep on kind of smudging until I get like about right there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the blending mode, and this is one of those kind of trying different blending modes and seeing what kind of looks best to you. I'm probably going to use that one right there, which is lighter color, and then I'm going to go ahead and turn on the layer above that one, and I'm going to repeat this process a couple times while changing the blending modes a few other times. And on these first two bottom layers, I'm going to try to smudge out towards this left side to get rid of a lot of this negative space that needs to be filled up with some color. And I'll kind of do a little bit on the right as well. And let's see, that'll be okay. And I think linear dodge add will be a good one. Yeah, it's a little bit too bright. Something like that's kind of nice. Let's do, yeah, let's do this. Let's do screen, and we'll bring the opacity down just a tad. Highlight the next new layer. And for this one, we'll do color dodge. And then on this next layer, and this is no specific order or anything like that. I mean, you can have maybe just 2 smudged layers below, or even like 5. It doesn't really matter. But what I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to actually move all these layers above over to right there, because a lot of the lighting is behind her, and I don't want it to be like off to one side. So I'll move all these layers over. Oh, and I need to get rid of this red on all these layers as well. Let me see if I can just... Nope. Okay, jeez. Let's get rid of the red thing. Okay, so on this layer, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a smudge brush, but I'm only going to smudge kind of like this bottom part out, and I'm going to kind of keep these details forward and not all blurred out, and I'm going to change this one to, let's see here, darker color. I think that's the same as normal. No, a little bit different. And oh, that one's good. Yeah, we'll do darker color. Bring down the opacity, maybe 70%. Highlight the next one, and let's do something like soft light. Yes, and we'll do the smudge brush on the bottom of that as well, just because I don't like that hard edge of the shoulder. I kind of want it to like fade in. And a shortcut to make your brush smaller, by the way, is the left bracket, and right bracket makes it bigger. So I'm making this brush a lot smaller to get these little tiny details, like that. And I'll do the same to the layers below. See how it's kind of like blending out into the background here? There we go. Okay, so there's too much smudging going on here, so I'll go ahead and put one more layer on top and not change the blending mode at all, and I'll just kind of bring up the opacity a tad and go ahead and smudge this little corner shoulder. Okay, so I've got that now, and you can kind of already see how it's kind of given this thing some depth. We've got a little bit more stuff to do, but that's almost what we're looking for. I don't like this hard edge in the back, so I'm actually going to highlight that layer and kind of, I think it was that one. Yeah, okay, there we go. Same thing with that up there. Too harsh, basically, taking away from the focal. There we go. So now what I'm going to do is I'll just get rid of this top layer. I'm going to create a new layer. It's a completely blank layer, and I'm going to go to Image, Apply Image, and I'm going to keep the blending mode to normal. And my wife just came home. I will continue with the tutorial though. So what this does is it creates a layer that is one solid layer based on all the layers that we had from below. And the reason we're going to do this is we're going to create a duplicate of that, and then we're going to go to Filter, Stylize, Diffuse, and we're going to choose this bottom one, Anisotropic, and click OK. And I'm going to change the fill to about 50% and the opacity to about 60 or so. And if we look at the difference, what it kind of does is it adds almost like a little, actually we can probably bump those up a bit more. There we go. It adds kind of like a, sort of like a topaz sort of feeling to that. But anyway, oh, and by the way, I would save when you have all these layers. And then that way you kind of have a PSD document to work with if you make a mistake. So I'm going to take those two layers, I'm going to merge them, and then I'm going to create another duplicate, and I'm going to do Filter, Blur, Gaussian Blur at 3.5, and I'm going to bring the opacity pretty low to about 26%, and that kind of gives it that glowy sort of feel. And I know right now it looks too blurry, but we're going to actually do something about that. So I'll merge those. Alright, so now what I want to do is I want to create this area, I want that to be really sharp, and I want these like edges to be very blurry. And to do that, underneath the smudge tool section as well, we're going to click Sharpen, put the strength to 50%, and use a soft brush with the hardness at 0%. And we're going to kind of click and drag over this area that we want to be nice and sharp, like the teeth and the eyes on this left side. And then that might have been too much. And then we're going to go to Blur, and we're going to blur the edges. And I have that at 100% to give it some really dramatic blur. which might have been just too much blurring. Bring the strength down to about 50, and I'll just do the edges. And that's about it. That's pretty much the effect. Oh, I'm sorry, there's one more step to do. We're going to create an adjustment layer, which is down here on the bottom right, and we're going to do gradient map, and this one is black to white, and I'm going to change the blending mode to soft light, and I'm going to bring the opacity way down, and I'm only going to bump it up to maybe 15%, and that kind of adds just some more dramatic lighting to the whole scene. And then of course you can get some text, and I basically just put a gradient and a stroke on my text using this kind of light tan and dark tan. But that's about it. I mean, it's as simple as that. But I guess the biggest things is just using the smudge tool for the kind of like the background, which is good because it's using the same colors as your render, and then using the diffusing and the this diffuse stylized thing, and then of course using your sharpen to get your main forward focal points nice and sharp, and then your outer areas to blur, and that'll create kind of that really dramatic effect. So let's see how close I got to the original. Probably not very close, but hopefully good enough. Yeah, this one's a lot darker, but sort of the same effect. You can see the blurry and the sharpiness. So yeah, that's about it, guys. Thanks.